And we're the boys.
Yeah.
Oh, we're the boys.
Boys.
We're the boys.
We're the boys.
We're the boys.
We're
And
the
Anna
boys.
is a boy, and Mitch is a boy, and Chris is a boy, and Tim is a boy. And together we're the boys and boys.
Podcast 11. We are still on our way to White Castle, and we're trying to find our way there. It's been nearly an hour of time gone by. Will we make it alive? Probably. But will we make it? I don't know. Let's see what we're talking about today. Okay. So guys, what are we going to talk about?
Did you say podcast 3 out of 11?
I said yes, I did.
Well, anyways, yeah, podcast 11.
It's podcast 11, and we're still
Podcast 11.
On our way out of town.
Come sail away.
I have a really I have a legit question that I would really like to know the answer
Well, that's
to.
good then.
First crush, either a celebrity crush, a crush of somebody in your school.
This just got awkward.
No, it didn't.
I hope it didn't.
It was you, Sheri. All of our first crushes were you.
It was me. Yeah, I'm sure that's so true.
I think it was kindergarten.
You got one, Mitch?
I got a kind of story.
Oh, sweet. I have a story too, but I want you to tell yours first.
Okay, well then mine is delivered. That's fine. So, when I was young, for some reason, I was aware that
Are you playing basketball?
yeah, I was bouncing a basketball. I was just standing there like, boy, this sure is fun. And I was actually at this event.
That's a joke from podcast 1, by the way. Okay.
Go back to podcast 1 for understanding references. Because we don't reference other things, we reference ourselves.
Yes, that's right.
But so I was at this thing called Giggles, which essentially
Giggle Gang?
yeah, it was
that
a
sounds pretty
precursor
gay.
to
Okay.
Jam. Jam stands for Jesus and Me,
Okay.
and that was like a youth thing. Giggle Gang stands for God is good, God loves everyone. Like literally, if you count out the first line,
Yeah.
it literally
That
fits.
acronym is God is
So
good.
yeah,
God
Giggle
loves
Gang was the greatest thing ever. That's where I first learned poop deck, main deck, and quarter deck, which is just the greatest game of all time.
Wow. You'll have to explain that
800
game
meters,
later.
use the right lane to take exit 88.
Well,
Explain it now.
Red Hill Valley Parkway.
It's essentially like you stand at a line in the gym. They say quarter deck, you run to the middle of the gymnasium.
Oh,
They say
okay.
main deck, you run to the end. They say poop
Alright.
deck, you run back to the beginning.
Oh,
And they could say
okay.
any one of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the last one there is out.
Use the
Gotcha.
right lane to
So
take
it's
exit
one to make fun of
8889.
fat kids. Anyways, so I was at Giggle Gang, and for some reason, even though I was, as a child, I was very unaware of literally everything. For some reason, I was aware that at a certain age, boys started liking girls.
Right.
And I think it was because my brother was older than me, and he started liking girls.
Right.
And so I thought that I was supposed to. So
Right.
I literally was trying to find someone who I liked,
Keep right.
and there was this one girl there who I saw, and I decided she was cute, so I decided that I liked her.
You just decided.
I just decided it.
And it was just based purely on looks, or had you had a conversation
Continue
with
on
Never.
Red Hill
I never
Valley
talked to her.
Parkway
Okay,
for
what
3
did she look like?
kilometers.
I was so shallow.
her?
She actually had... That's a good question. I thought she had a baby face, but in actuality she had like a more adult face. She had a very sharp chin. I hope she never watches, by the way.
She ended up being his cousin.
You know what's actually interesting about that?
Usual.
She actually someone is.
Oh, wow.
Not really, but
Wow.
like in a like a weird background way. Because I have an uncle Roy,
It's so
and
weird.
somehow she's related to him in some way.
They always are.
But anyways, what happened is I'm there, and
Chris.
I'm hanging out, and I decide that I like her.
Yeah.
And then some weird things happen. First of all, I completely avoid her because what am I gonna do? Talk to her? That's crazy.
I know, that's insane.
But then I come into Giggle Gang on my birthday, but no one there should know it's my birthday. But they're throwing a birthday party, and I was
For
like,
you?
"What? This is crazy."
Yeah.
It was her birthday.
No, she has the same birthday as you?
Yeah. It
Oh
was
my
insane.
gosh. What was this girl's name?
Caitlin.
Caitlin from Giggle Gang. If you're listening, Mitch had a crush on you.
Caitlin? No. Yeah, you know her. You actually know her. She was friends with Sarah.
No. That's
What?
not her name. It wasn't Caitlin. It was.
I'm pretty
I
sure
think I
Mitchell
know.
would know.
Caitlin, that's her name. She was from the circus. She hung out with us for a bit. But yeah. But
Okay.
here's how that story ended.
Okay.
So I don't remember what made me think it was the case. But I think she started acting very weird around me. And
She
I either found out or just became. I was like 7 at the most, but like probably 5.
Yeah.
I was so young. But what happened is, I think somehow she found out that I had a crush on her, and I thought that because I told my brother about it, so I thought that either he or my sister had told her that I had a crush.
Right.
So then I was crushed, and
Oh,
And-
so
and
then
then-
she was weird around you.
yeah, and then I never went back.
Aww,
And then
that
I met
doesn't
her
have a
again
good-
later
happy
in life,
ending.
which was also strange.
Well, he's single, so obviously.
Found out he was related.
Okay, so are you done? Can I tell my story?
Yes, you can tell your story.
Unless somebody else wants to go.
Wait, what is it? What are we doing?
We're talking
oh my
about our
gosh.
first crushes.
Either celebrity crush or like crush in real life.
So that's when you get to say, it was Olivia. Oh, she was my first real crush. All the other ones are fake.
No,
It
like
can be like a movie star that you
when
thought
you
was
were
attractive.
when you were
When
really
little.
young.
When you were
well, if I
little.
knew that.
Okay, so I have a very specific one
Whoa,
because
things not real.
I remember this is actually really embarrassing.
Yay.
It's like
You're setting up for me.
legit
That's good.
embarrassing. So in the 80s, which by the way, I'm aware that I'm like a full 20 years on all of you, but there was this little show called Growing Pains,
Yeah.
and the star of the show was Mr. Kirk Cameron.
Oh, boy.
And he was like in all the like teen beat magazines, and like he was like the man in like 1987.
Yeah, it was.
And
What a
he was cute. Like he was seriously cute.
Mm-hmm.
And so
He showed up on an episode of Full House.
he did. I remember that episode.
I think he
Yeah.
played a cousin to them.
I remember.
And his sister's on that show, which is DJ.
Candace
Yeah.
Candace Cameron, yes.
Freaking.
So
I just realized something scary.
What's that?
It's dark outside.
We're gonna cross the border and we're carrying too many adults.
And you have a bunch of stuff in the trunk.
Oh no, that's fine.
No, it's not. You
No,
have
it's
to
not.
stay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not even
we're
illegal to
carrying
carry.
too many adults.
Like it honestly, from the stuff I have in the trunk,
That's
and
weird.
it look and the amount of adults we have, we look like a team of assassins.
I don't think anyone
The most
would take
unlikely
me.
Guys, you ready for their
There's
exact...
nothing assassin-like about me.
Yeah.
Guys, no, hold on. You ready for their exact quote on what he's gonna say when he finds out there's a ton of stuff in the trunk? He's like, so you didn't empty the trunk before you left? Isn't that weird to you?
We're like, no, we
that's
packed
totally what
it.
he's gonna say.
And then you know what I'm gonna say? No.
It's like, no, do you want to empty out the trunk?
What is
No.
in the trunk?
No, I'll just
Yeah.
tell them. Well, like all my like
It's only
I
all
have
the
two.
machetes and
I have
machine
2
guns.
saws, 3 saws. I have
Oh.
a sander. I have
That's
knives.
normal.
Are you serious?
I have all my tools.
We're
I have,
not
like,
going to a bank
I have
place.
different kinds of gloves.
Only a gas station.
For,
He
like,
also has a
different kinds of-
newspaper with a bank circled on it.
Wow. Okay.
I'm
feel-
so glad that I got to say that halfway through the trip.
I told you.
Do you
Now
seriously
that-
have your construction stuff in the trunk?
Everything.
Good grief!
Harold
We're
and
not even
Kumar
gonna
did
make
I
it.
packed.
We are. This is a Harold and
I
Kumar
packed,
for sure.
I packed to go to Ottawa.
You're ridiculous. Why would you not take that stuff out of the trunk?
Didn't you literally put it in the trunk?
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally put it in the
Those
trunk.
are considered weapons.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll before we hit the border, we'll stash.
We'll stash them in the bush, in like a bush somewhere.
It just
Wow.
happens sometimes.
Yeah, but your mom, she had a baby gun.
Yeah, but
Like a
that's a
toy.
weapon.
No, that's a gun. That's
Oh,
not...
but a saw is not a weapon.
No, it's not used in the movie Saw.
Well,
I'm
to
just
be fair,
saying.
a gun has one use, which is to shoot things, and saw has multiple uses, which is to saw things, and actually, it's just got one use.
To cut things.
We could be breaking into safe with all your stuff. Maybe.
We could cut some wood and use the wood to swing it into a giant rock that might break it open.
We We could stash it all at the side.
Okay, how are we gonna break into the safe though? Let's talk about that.
Okay,
But
honestly.
Sheri was talking about
Yeah, thanks, Olivia. Everybody forgot except Olivia.
I remembered. I just found this very interesting too.
Yeah, it was also very interesting. I agree.
Yeah, so now that we're over it, it's.
Yeah, now that we know we won't get
Wait,
past the
so
border.
Sheri,
let's
did
do
you?
it.
Yeah.
Sheri,
We
did
may as
you
well
rent?
enjoy our trip
Sheri,
to
did
the
you
border.
rent?
Pardon?
Did you already say is that thing?
I was saying Kurt Cameron from Growing Pains,
Yeah.
but I have a story behind it.
Yeah, there you go.
Because he was like the first one that really like got my like heart pounding whenever I would see him, and my palms would sweat. And so I got this poster out of my Timbit magazine. It was like in the middle of the magazine. You get like a full like poster size, and I put it on my wall behind my door. And I had this fantasy where I imagined that I was in this studio audience of Growing Pains while they were filming the show. So at least I understood he was an actor, not a real person, like actually, like Mike Seaver on the show. He was actually Kurt Cameron. So I imagined that I was in the audience while they were taping, and when I smiled, the lights like glinted off my braces. And it caught his attention, and so he looked at me and he smiled, and then he got his like manager to come and like say, "Hey, Kurt Cameron wants to meet you. Come to his like,"
He likes
because
your braces.
apparently he likes my braces, right?
Yeah.
You know. So I was like, "Woo!" And then we like totally kissed. This was my like ultimate like 10-year-old girl fantasy. No, I'm fantasizing.
All right, that's amazing. But let me ask you this:
So-
did you kiss his face on the poster?
Absolutely. I would totally practice on that poster. And so because it was right behind my door, my oldest brother Steven walked into my room, opened the door, and then my face and my nose hit the door, hit the wall, and then he's like, "What are you doing?" And it was so obvious what I was doing because there's no other explanation as to why I would be directly behind the door with my Kurt Cameron poster on the wall and my face now like planted up against the poster, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're making out with your poster." I was like, "No, I wasn't." And he's like, "Yeah, what were you doing?" And I was like, "I was just standing here and looking for something." He's like, "Yeah, what were you looking for?" And I'm like, "Get out of my room! You're supposed to knock! Respect my privacy!" Yeah, it was very embarrassing. So yeah, that's my
why
story.
There's laws so that when you feel guilty, you can uphold them.
Yeah, he totally caught me making out with my Kurt Cameron poster. So yeah.
Chrissy.
What's your story, Chris?
Kindergarten, probably.
Wow, getting him young.
Not, or K. Is it called KG or something? Yeah, that's kindergarten.
Kindergarten, yeah.
What's before that?
There's like SK, which is
preschool?
senior kindergarten.
No,
JK.
so that's after JK. No.
JK, that's junior kindergarten.
Yeah.
So you're like really young then. You're like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just weird, dude.
No, but trying to figure out. So is this the first person? No,
Yeah,
no.
like just that you had kind of a little crush on. I mean, I know that it was me, but you can't really say me.
So I won't.
In 3 kilometers, use the left 2 lanes to take the Ontario 403 West
Like, I
exit.
was the player, so I kissed a lot of girls.
You did?
Tons.
He really was a player. I
I
said
was
it
a
as a
player.
joke, but he really was a player.
Yeah, it wasn't the best time
Wow. When was your first kiss?
because I had like, yeah, it's
Which
pretty sad.
first
But
kiss?
one time I was dating one girl and then I was kissing another girl on the street.
Whoa, Chris!
Wait, what?
Chris was a bad boy. He was a player.
What did he
Bad
do?
boy.
He was dating one girl, but he was kissing another
Dating a
girl.
girl at school, and then I don't know how it happened, and this other girl on the street like me.
And so you just started making out with her on the street?
No, not on the street,
And
obviously.
now he's
You play together like during the summer all the time or something. I don't know.
But
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure that I have.
Jesus, now he's okay.
And now I'm single.
Wow, Chris.
Anyway, so like, yeah, so I was like really young, probably kissed the first girl, I don't know when. Man, I must have been so young.
Wow. You don't even remember who your first kiss was?
Well,
That's how many you've had? Can't remember the first one? Wow.
I don't know, because it was probably so young that it was probably like, I know because NCC closed at like when I was in like grade 5. So it was probably like grade 2 or grade 3. Or no, probably grade 3-ish, maybe 4 that I probably kissed the first girl probably.
Dang. Now, was it all for you about like the action, or did you actually have like feelings for these girls? Like, did you have crushes on them?
How much of a player were you?
Yeah, so it's just like, really, I always just love people. I mean, no, I just like wanted to care about people, you know, like I have a big heart. So it's not like I was like weird or anything, or like.
See, he wasn't cheating.
I wasn't
on his
a player
girlfriend because he's a bad kid. He was cheating on his girlfriend because he just loves so many girls. He's just got so much love in his heart to share around.
And that only happened one time, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure it happened.
Wow.
Since I don't even remember it, it's not like, it's just I remember saying that, but I don't actually know if it happened. Anyways, so, you know, I just really cared about, you know, like, wanted to be friends. But there is always that aspect of, like, she's the new girl on my list, like, I want to marry type of thing, whatever. And since I am, like Tim, like, very serious, you know?
He played the game and he was good at it.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Because it would always be, this is what would always happen. I'd pursue a girl, make her feel like a princess pretty much. She wouldn't accept me, and then I would back off and start pursuing the next girl of my dreams. And then she would start being jealous and then come to me. And then I'm like, oh, sorry. And then I'd go date that girl.
The first girl that you wanted, that you just made her jealous with another girl.
Yeah. So,
wow, that is some serious playa action.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I just want to be single. Stop this madness.
Stop the games.
Stop the games, please.
So Olivia, what about you?
So I was in high school, and like you had your schedule with your classes, but then sometimes you didn't have any classes, so you had to go in this room. We had this little book where we would write our information, and there is this guy that was in front of me. He turned around, he took my book, oh my goodness, and he opened it. And then after that, for 1 entire year, I was looking at him all the time and hoping that he would go and talk to me, because it was like, oh, he gave me attention. This is amazing. He might love me so much.
So did he ever come talk to you?
Or he was,
No, never.
Boo.
he was probably just really interested in that book.
He was just bald.
Well, it was Tim! No.
All along. So what about you, Tim? Are you comfortable sharing or no?
Alright.
All right, here we go.
This one.
Is the Wi-Fi?
I might not go into
Detail?
details about
Who it is?
things, but
Are you going to share the same one I have?
Okay.
okay, I don't know if I have my facts straight. I'm gonna ask Mitchell. Remember it?
Tim goes and talks to Mitchell about what his past was.
Because Tim has no memory.
Mitchell seems to remember the past better.
Everybody used a real person in their life except me. Oh man.
I have so many examples of fake person.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah.
List one.
So I was watching one cartoon. It's not even a movie, it's a cartoon. And like it was this guy playing football and stuff. And then I don't know how, but like the guy was so
What
cool
was the
and
first
stuff.
one?
And I was just imagining meeting him and just a big love story. And
He was a cartoon.
Yes. And I just remember sometimes going in the room just thinking about it. We're making a love story. Hoping that it would happen. I was hoping that it would happen.
He wasn't trying. But you know what? I felt the same way about Peter Pan. I had a
Oh my
right?
goodness. Yeah.
How hot was
I even
Peter
had a
Pan? I wanted to be Wendy from Peter Pan. That's funny.
Nana would
Wendy.
know.
What?
Nana, do you remember when my family first went to Nepal? Was I in like high school, grade 9?
Yeah, it was about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my story when
Okay.
I'm ready.
Yep, go for it. We were just talking about the cartoons we had crushes on. The other cartoon I think is hot is the Robin Hood. The freaking fox from Robin Hood.
Okay, you're right, but Marion Fox is
Yeah, she's hot. With that little pink hoodie on, yeah, she's gorgeous.
You know who else?
Alright.
The bunny, the female bunny from Space Jam.
The female bunny from Space Jam. I remember Space
She's
Jam.
pink.
Really? Yeah, I can't picture her. I remember seeing the movie Space Jam. I just can't
She
remember
was so
seeing it.
cool.
I always thought Belle was really attractive.
Okay, I got it. So,
Twinkle Bell, yeah.
so
Yes.
the first time I went to Nepal, I bought. So that there's a sad aspect to this story, and then
Okay.
there's like a happy aspect.
Okay.
Okay.
You married
So,
someone.
so I was liking this girl, and you guys all know her, Sheri. I'm not gonna go into details. So I went to Nepal, and I felt like God was saying that I should buy something for like the one, and I didn't know who it was gonna be at that point, and I was young, but I felt like I should buy something for them.
Damn.
What? For the person. For the person.
How many others are there?
Yeah, Olivia's like, term. So I bought some things. I bought it thinking, okay, this is for the one, and then I thought, oh well, since I like her,
Right. It must be for her.
it must be for her.
Right.
And so I was stupid and didn't wait and gave it to her.
Oh.
And then she gave it back to me because, like, it never turned into a relationship.
Right.
Like, it was a conversations over the phone, and it never went anywhere.
Right.
And then what happened was I found who God had me wanted me to buy things for, which was Olivia Hawkins now.
Right.
And I couldn't give those things to her because I had.
To give her something
Yeah.
that you had given to another girl that had given
It
back
had
to
been
you.
it had been.
Given already.
No, it's lost its worth because
Yeah.
It was
I
no
lost
longer
that
special.
chance. But I did have something that I bought just in case, and it was a necklace. And I bought just in case.
Is this
that
when he's
and I
gonna pull it
didn't
out?
give
Because that would be epic.
Because
That
I
would.
wanted to buy something, wanted there to be something, and I kind of bought it for me at the same time. But then like I kept it, and like now it came around to it, and I was like, I have something from that time where God told me to get something for the one, which ended up being someone that I met in Nepal, because that's where I met Olivia.
Right.
And the necklace says Nepal on it. And so when I put it on her, when I proposed to her for the first time, well, I didn't propose twice, so
You proposed.
when I proposed to her and I put it on her for the first time, I told her she's my Nepali girl. And I thought it's so perfect because God told me the first time I went to Nepal, like that I should buy something for my Nepali girl that I didn't realize that he was saying a Nepali girl.
Right.
Because he didn't say that at the time, but
Just the one.
yeah.
And then the second time you went to Nepal,
And then-
he told you that you'd find the one.
No, third time.
Third time.
Wow.
So-
So Olivia has the necklace. Yay. That has a good ending.
You guys, the stars look great.
Can I share a second one because I'll tell a real life one since everybody else told a real life one.
Alright, and then we should all go into character growth, like from movies.
Yes. Like I admitted to liking the Fox from Robin Hood cartoon.
Can't remember that.
So I actually fully stalked somebody when I was about 11. And it wasn't like stalking nowadays is very different. It's very easy because all you have to do is creep someone on Instagram or check out their Facebook page, see
In the
where
old
they
days,
are.
you had to use binoculars and look through a window.
But like back in the day, you had to like
Follow
really
them
do.
home.
Yeah, you literally did. So this guy his name was Nathan, and he totally did it for me. Like he was, and the thing is, I could never actually have a conversation with him. Everybody in the entire school knew that I had a crush on this guy, and
he didn't.
oh, he totally did. Because I would just blush and stutter, and anytime he asked me to, like, and it was so awkward. Like, one time he asked me if he could borrow my social studies notes because he'd been sick, and I was like, yeah. And then I gave him my notes, and I forgot that on the back of the binder I had written Sheri, which was his last name, all over my notebook. All over my notebook. My room, okay, I had posters on my wall that I had written, I love Nathan, and I put them up as posters. I like fully like a crazy person.
See, it only works until they come over and then it gets real awkward.
Yeah.
Did you like draw pictures of him and post them as if they're like photographs?
Dude, I actually, okay, so when we got into grade 9, because in grade 7 and 8, we pretty much had all the same classes together, but in grade 9, in high school, I didn't have all the same classes. I would have friends who would write down, who would sit behind him and tell me everything he did. He leaned over and spoke to Kevin. He said this. He dropped his pencil.
Really good
He did
friends.
that. Oh, great friends. But then they would come out in the hall at the end of class and I would read it because I wanted to know everything he did. I knew he had his sister and his mom. He lived on a pig farm. Like, this was like in like rural Saskatchewan. He lived on a pig farm about 5 miles out of the town where we lived. I would go and walk on a Sunday afternoon to stare at his house. I wouldn't actually go anywhere near it. I just wanted to stare at it. I actually took a bottle, like this is sad, this is so sad, but it's true. I took a bottle, an empty jar, and opened it to collect the air from his farm so I could have it on my desk at home. So I had like air from his farm. Okay.
This is epic.
So his
work?
mom, no. So his mom and his sister both had cars, and I wanted to know like when they were in town. So I remember exactly what the cars looked like. I memorized the license plate numbers. His sister's, Kirsten's car was
Censored content.
Oh,
his
this
mother's
just got
was
weird.
Censored content.
These are actual legitimate license plate numbers for Kirsten and Mrs.
Now everyone can
I
find them.
would call the house and I would giggle and I would hang up. I would just hope that he would answer so I could hear him say hello and then I would hang up. And like one time his mom actually said, you know what, Sheri? Like I totally like understand that you're like crushing here, but it's actually very disruptive. We're trying to have dinner. So then of course I was mortified, right? That didn't stop me from calling. Like I maybe like stopped calling for about 2 or 3 days. But like when he came into town and if he had like a Friday night slumber party with some friends, I would go to the house where he was with my friends, and like there was like his friend Kevin, they would have like slumber parties in the basement, and I would go and like lie on my stomach looking through the basement window to watch them playing video games or whatever they would do.
Wow.
I was a full-on stalker. Like not even, it wasn't even cute. I have a scrapbook to this day that has like airplanes that he drew and threw in the trash. Anything he'd throw in the trash, I would go and take it out of the trash.
Bubble gum.
Sherry, were they worried that you're going to murder them?
Probably he was. Okay, here's another thing. So one of the only conversations I had with him, I had a crush on this guy for like 4 years. he'd gone to the candy store, and there used to be these little things called blue whales, and they were just like little gummy in the shape of a whale.
Right.
And so he had gotten a bag of them, and so he came in and was passing them all around to us. So like it wasn't just, he in no way singled me out, but he was like passing me around. You want a blue whale? Want a blue whale? To this day, I have that blue whale. I saved it. I would rub it like it was a freaking good luck charm. And then when it started to disintegrate, I wrapped tape around it. And I still have that stupid blue whale. Well, it had gotten, like, we'd gotten word, like, that was in grade 9. By grade 12, everybody knew this
Still going on in grade 12?
No, but like by grade 12, I'd worked my way out of it. But everybody had known about the story of the blue. It was the legend of the blue whale.
That's amazing.
Totally. So then,
They still
this
tell
was
us to
like
this
grade
day.
7, 8, and 9. I pretty much stalked him for 3 straight years, and it was like, well, like we also had I played basketball, and so did he. And our teams would play like right after each other. So then sometimes our coaches would take us out to McDonald's right afterwards. And he has I remember him putting on one of these like hats, you know, like it was like a thing that McDonald's gave out with your Happy Meal.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left it on the table, and I grabbed it and I took it home and put it in my scrapbook. Like if anything he touched, garbage, like pencils, whatever, I would save in this scrapbook. It was an illness. I knew where he was like 80% of the time, who he was with. I knew his favorite foods. I knew his favorite snacks, because I would stalk him. I literally would stalk him. He'd go to the grocery store. I'd be like, oh, he's getting a Kit Kat. That must be something. He must like a Kit Kat. So, I mean, it was insane, but I couldn't. The one thing he did say to me, which, I mean, I literally dreamt about this for like 2 months. He said to me, there was these like ping pong professionals that came to our school, and I could play a pretty decent round of ping pong because I was raised with a ping pong table. So these ping pong professional guys, like at the end of showing how awesome they were, they said, does anybody want to challenge us? I'm like, I'll challenge you. Like, obviously they're going to be nice to me, but so I rallied a couple good serves back. Nathan came up to me at the end. He says, you're pretty good at ping pong. Oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna die. I was like, Nathan thinks I'm good at ping pong. I would lie in bed at night, like just so ecstatic that Nathan thought I was good at ping pong. Like it was a mental illness. It actually was. So then, like as I started like growing out of this crush, especially in grade 11 and grade 12, I was so embarrassed because I knew how much everybody knew I had a crush on him. And he knew, and people would make fun of him because of how insane my crush was. So now, like, I still have to go to school with him, except I'm older and I'm not as stupid, and I'm trying to be cool. He starts dating one of my friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to interact with this person on a regular basis. So I'm like trying really hard to like not be uncomfortable, but I'm super uncomfortable. So this one time, like there was these double doors, those like steel doors at the school, and there's a frame, and there's a frame in the middle.
Yes.
So I was coming through one of the doors, and he was coming towards the door. So I'm like, okay, here's my chance to be like cool and just be like, hey Nathan, like instead of like looking away or being weird. So I'm like, yeah. So no, sorry, he was coming through the door. I apologize. Excuse me, podcast people. I was heading towards the door. He was coming in the door. So as he's like, hey Sheri, how's it going? I'm like, great. Are you coming out to Friday night event? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm pulling this off. I'm having a conversation with him. Oh my gosh. So I go, okay, I'll see you later. And I go to like, as we're talking, as we're passing each other, so he's watching me, I'm watching him, I slam into the bar in the middle between the two doors, and my pencil case, my books, everything go all over the floor. So now he's on his knees helping me pick up all these pencils, tampons, like, I was dying. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm
Falling
like,
in your face,
this
huh?
is like, and I didn't even have a crush on him at this point. I just was trying to like not be retarded. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. He's like, no, don't worry about it. Like, it's so nice. But I was like mortified. So now I'm like, okay, now I can never ever talk to this person.
Okay, speaking of
So, like,
tampons,
for-
I need to go pee.
For like, why speaking of tampons? That's a really weird segue. So I'll just quickly say one more thing. This is how my story with Nathan ends. So in grade 12, we're standing in line to go. We're at like a tuck shop in our school. We're standing in line, and it was quite a lengthy line. And he's like, so I just got to ask you. By now we've been comfortable enough to like talk, like sort of in our group, our circle of friends, but never really one-to-one. But in this case, it was just him and I. So he's like, we were kind of chit-chatting, and he goes, okay, I have to ask you something. And I'm like, oh God, no, please. And he's like, is it true that you carried around a blue whale that I gave you in like the 7th grade? And I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed to have to answer this honestly, but absolutely yes, I did. And he's like, that is so funny. And he's like, you know, if you'd ever just like had a conversation with me, like we might have been friends. And I'm like, I'm so embarrassed, and I'm sorry for everything that I ever put your family through. And he's like, honestly, like he actually wrote in my yearbook, next time you come to visit my farm, come in to say hello. So,
oh snap! So that we don't have to just see you through the window. Oh my goodness, I would. Oh
yeah,
my goodness,
pretty
that'd be
much.
so creepy. Like
pretty much.
If they actually would just like see you
So,
in the window. And
I
be
know,
like, why
because
doesn't
I would
she
literally,
knock on the door.
I would literally just stand on the other side of the street and stare at the house.
What?
Yeah.
You're like that
right across
creepy
the
doll.
street.
Like
oh my
in
gosh.
in a movie when it like
I was
the
full
lightning
on
shocks
creepy.
and
You're the
she's just
clown from
staring
it.
at it.
Damn. So then the funniest part is he gets a piece of licorice, and he's got his little pack of licorice, and he goes, do you want one? And I was like, yes, I do, thank you. And I'm going to eat it in front of you so you can see that I'm not crazy, and I'm not going to save this for the rest of my
Oops,
life.
I have to go.
And
Sorry.
she still has the
And I
last
still
bite in
have-
her scratch.
Secretly, she hid it in her mouth.
yeah. And then he was gone. I just pulled it out of my mouth and put it in my scrapbook now. So yeah, so that was my Nathan stalker
Wow.
story. Yeah, it was full on crazy town. Like, I have pages and pages of me written Sheri.
Censored content.
Like, it was fully crazy. Like, yeah. So.
Yeah, that was full stock.
Yeah, right, full stalker. And the funny thing was, when I was telling Rebecca and Sophie this story at the storefront, they're like, we should totally call him. Do you remember his number? I'm like,
Number.
like, I mean, I know his number.
Did you prank call?
We totally called and his mom answered. And I was like, hey up! And I'm just picturing her going, Sheri, really? Like, are you
Oh
still
my
doing
goodness.
this? Like,
It's just
Oh
still
my
Sheri.
Did you really?
He's already
did you
married.
really call her?
no, she's like, Rebecca was like, I'm totally gonna call her. And I'm like, are you sure you are? I didn't think she was actually going to. So she's like, what's the number? I'm like,
Number.
and so I'm like, it's probably not even, not even their number anymore.
I'm surprised.
And
it
so we would let it ring, and it's like, hello, residents. And I'm like, oh my God! Like, there's no way that he lives there anymore, but
Yeah.
that's where the parents still live. So, like,
is.
yeah.
The story still
Yeah,
goes.
that's- we need to prank call them right now.
No.
O'clock in the
Jeez.
morning.
No, we don't need a prank call. We gotta straight up call him.
Yeah,
Well, it's like-
no, I want to call them and be like, hello, do you remember Sheri?
No!
Hawkins.
No!
And they'll be like, yes, and I'm like, I'm
The
sorry, but
candy.
she's waiting for your son.
Oh!
She still got
No.
the fish.
She still has the
Is
blue
your
whale,
son
and she
single
has
by
a
any
scrapbook
chance?
of everything he's ever touched that she's seen him
For
touch.
like 3 years. And like,
She
yeah.
needs.
I
him.
still have
and
the
she,
scrapbook.
and then
I
they're,
do.
you know what they're gonna say? He's been waiting for her to call, and I will hang up the phone, and I will hand it to you and be like, it's on you.
And instead of going to White Castle, we'll drive there.
We'll
This
drive
is-
to Saskatchewan
This
so
has
I
been
can.
waiting. This has been waiting years.
He's been waiting, my true love. He's
Okay,
been waiting
so-
since I was 12. That
You
poor
would
guy.
have been.
I'm actually surprised that like his parents, and that's another thing that super embarrassed me is when there was one day that we had, the parents came and were standing at the back of the class just to view how the class was being taught. It was like a parents come to school kind of day. And this kid that had a crush on me, that knew I crushed on Nathan, he used to always bug me all the time, you know, because that's the way guys get girls' attentions.
Oh, because that's worse than stalking.
Yeah, it's so much worse. So anyway, he had written under the map, you know those maps that come down over the chalkboard and then they pull up?
Yeah.
He had written, Sheri loves Nathan, and then pulled the map down. So now all the parents are in the back, and then the teacher goes to pull up the thing, and there it is written in chalk. Sheri loves Nathan. And I was like, oh my gosh, and the parents are laughing, and his mom is back there. And she comes up to me and she goes, don't worry, sweetie. I remember what it was like to be 12 and have a crush. And I was like, oh my God. Like, even just thinking about that now, I feel my ears getting hot. Because now that I'm an adult, like, I'm so humiliated by how crazy she must have thought I was. And, you know, just like, and she was so nice. Their entire family was like ridiculously nice to me, even though I was fully stalking
What's his
them.
number?
I really actually gave the actual number to people on the podcast.
Make sure to call
People
them.
on the podcast.
Tell them that Sheri needs their son. Tell them that Sheri Hawkins remembers.
Oh no! I totally forgot we were recording this.
Reminder, Mitch.
Tell
leave
them, tell them she still has the blue whale.
I still have the
She
blue
still has her
whale.
scrapbook.
Okay, guys, go on Twitter's hashtag. Still has the blue whale.
Hashtag blue whale. Legend of the blue whale.
I'm actually. Thank goodness nobody actually.
Thank goodness we're not famous. I have to go.
Imagine if this was like a famous podcast that like had 100,000 people. Like that. Poor Mrs. would be getting so many phone calls.
Okay,
No, we
and
won't
they'll
let
be
the call
like
go on.
the blue whale.
Oh, see, the issue is
Sheri Hawkins.
we'll have to like somehow bleep out their like last
Number.
name or something.
What's their last name?
Censored content.
Now we just gave Chris the job of having to bleep that out.
Mitchell.
Doing what? Saying.
No, it's because she gave the full name, so now like you don't want people
No.
to like. There's people might like
Yeah, it's.
really.
And I gave
What
out a
if you
phone
get some
number.
psycho killer? Like,
And I
you know?
gave out license plates.
Oh, guys, you know, what if we gave out their name and then what if someone stalked them? That'd be crazy.
I know. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that?
Oh my goodness!
Stalking.
And they find a picture of you and dress like you,
Oh my.
like some sicko.
They have a different girl standing across the street.
What is going on?
Poor girl.
I feel
Yeah.
like we're haunted. So,
Bye,
thanks
Santa
guys
Claus.
for listening.
Here
I think
comes
this is a
Santa.
great time to end this one. Please download this and listen every day.